So this is the Foodbox PSA, and let's see. Okay, so in the year 2021, it is projected that over 43 million Americans, so that's about 1 in 8 people, as well as 13 million children, 1 in 6, are expected to go hungry and experience food insecurity. This is through COVID alone, but the numbers are more than just a product of the pandemic. They are a signal to a bigger problem that persists in many American cities and suburbs. Today, I'm here to talk about an experiment very similar to the Little Free Library, where anybody can create their own food box. The idea is to prop up a garden, whether that be the front or backyard, and using the food you grow to give back to your local neighborhood. This is a great way for individuals and communities alike to address issues regarding the negative, lasting effects of urban sprawl within our cities. So, what is urban sprawl? And specifically, suburban sprawl? In short, it is the spread of urbanized areas on an open landscape. These urban sprawls are usually defined by single-family housing, often spread out within zonings of an outer city or town. So these are going to be like strictly single-family zoning, which prohibits like local businesses being built on top of it or whatnot. Anyways, one of the biggest issues with urban sprawl is within the name itself. It is an unplanned form of urban planning that does not take the steps of considering the livelihoods of the people living there. As you can see, these are some of the issues and effects of urban sprawl. Shortage of financial resources, psychological problems, and an increase in public costs. So these are pretty much small, but they add up. And there's actually more, but it would be too much to include. And you could actually see the videos below. These are actually some good resources that explain urban sprawl and touch a bit deep into the fact of how big of an issue it is in America. And to our right, you could actually see pictures and examples of cities that are in urban sprawl, that are in that type of source, in that type of region. I'm pretty sure most of us actually live in places like these. And here is a natural list of the causes, effects, and solutions. These are actually really good ways to combat urban sprawl. And I recommend you do research ahead of this. But in today's video, we're going to give you a solution. And this solution is something small, but definitely crucial to combating this prevalent issue. So one of the first steps to organizing your own food box is assessing the current situation. Are you part of the homeowners association? If yes, then you may need to take a few steps back and see what's possible. In the case you are not held down by that association, you are in the free to do whatever you want with your own front lawn, which is often needed if you want to influence such a project. It is important to be able to provide food, whether that be fresh from a garden or leftovers from a meal. The idea is to give back. In the case you are in the HOA or the homeowners association and wish to contribute in any way possible, it is important that you know your rights, and none is greater than the bill called Assembly Bill 7561, Civil Code Section 4750, which is shown here. So a little background of this. So this bill was basically signed in 2015, and it allows homeowners in the HOA to grow their own food within their backyards. So I personally recommend getting in touch with a local food pantry, since they would most likely take in local food donations and would most likely appreciate the fresh produce you may have to offer. Um, this is, of course, if you're an HOA. If you're not, you can still do this, but I recommend you build something in your front yard, like a food box, as I was talking about earlier, since that would be definitely more impactful for the people around you. Not to say that local food pantry wouldn't do that. It's just as impactful. So in order to show the success of the experimental food box or makeshift community center, I really don't know what you would want to call it, if I'm being honest. I would like to show everybody my aunt. So this is my aunt. She's to the right, and as you can see right here, these are her kids. That's not me. No, I'm just kidding. That is me. Towards my left is Joshua or Josh, and my top right is Obi. Those are my cousins. So, her contributions to her neighborhood, which is often using the same concept as I discussed, you can basically see within these pictures how she's like strategically placed her food box near the front of her driveway. So her food box is not really here in this picture. This is more like the community center I was speaking about earlier. And yeah, so this is the food box. And she has strategically placed her food box in the front of her driveway, and her yard has been repurposed to accommodate people in large gatherings. Often the food within the box are eggs and vegetables from her garden, but on one can choose to expand on that. In a conversation we had, she said, I decided that the fresh eggs I had at the local supermarket in town was not enough. And I thought it would be better to place the same concept right in front of my house. And what happened was amazing. I had people I've never seen before in my neighborhood come by and gather near the box, so much so that I had to expand the area. I often received thank you notes, and many decided to give back. She also wanted to note that she built everything you see here, right here. So, in summary, or just overall, the use of this idea is to provide a sense of community for an already isolating environment that is urban sprawl. It is in these small acts of kindness that bigger, more meaningful ideas begin to sprout and spread. Remember to first always assess the situation at hand. If your house belongs under the HOA, consider the bill I talked about earlier and grow your own backyard garden. And consider the alternative food pantry donation. If you're not under the HOA or you live in the middle of nowhere like my aunt, your options are more bigger. And yeah, to read off the summary, I would say understand your situation, which I discussed, have access to a backyard or a front yard garden, which I think most people have or can do. And if it's possible, build a natural food box in your front yard. The goal is to provide accessibility and exposure for other people around you. Like in any situations, there's bound to be issues, unplanned issues, and that is, you know, that is a part of life. But I feel like by doing this and trying your best to just provide for other people, it will pay out. It will pay out. You know, this can be very stressful sometimes because you have to deal with certain laws and regulations. But if when you get through it, or if you get through it, it's one of the most satisfying things ever.